What was the most NSFW thing that happened at your school? 2 kids FK'd in a stairwell of my school. That guy is such an idiot. In grade 8 a kid jerked off in the science lab and came onto a bunch of different slides. He then looked at them through a microscope and left them for someone else to find. He did it for science. Nothing wrong with the little couple F-king in the girls' bathroom. There were loud noises. About 20 people were standing outside listening and cracking jokes until a teacher forced them out. Until a teacher forced him out? Does that mean the teacher was in the bathroom? A guy pooped in someone's lunchbox. Edit. Apparently this is way more relatable than I realized. Also, tell who Randy Orton is. We all know it was yours. Couple years after I graduated, a freshman girl blew a guy in the middle of lunch in the cafeteria. It was on tape and made the news. Girl finger banged by 2 guys in a French lesson. Wait a second. There's another finger in this PSSY. Wait a minute. I think this happened in my school. You from the UK? Back in high school I walked into the boys' bathroom to see 4 pairs of shoes in a stall. I didn't know if they were found drugs or something, but I left. It turned out that it was 4 8th graders. Apparently one of them was a girl and she was giving oral sex to 3 guys at once. We have a big statue of a patriot in the front of the school, and as a senior prank a couple of kids superglued a DLDO to his crotch. When the principal tried taking it off, he couldn't because they put lube all over the DLDO. Best prank ever. When I was a senior in high school, a small group of freshmen who came in on one of the early morning buses apparently had an orgy in the bleachers of the football stadium. It was the talk of the school for about a week. Not sure what happened to them. Also in middle school, 2 boys were caught inserting a broomstick handle up a girl in our shop technical class. Totally consensual. But also totally F-king weird. I see hot broomstick. During a movie in my freshman history class, a girl whacked off a guy behind us, and when the movie was over she stood up and slapped the guy's ex-GF with a cum hand. Holy crap. Gold. Thank you. Damn. What a way to establish dominance. Well, a teacher came to class drunk off his ass. He was a good teacher, but his wife died recently, so the school board was lenient on him. They asked him to go to therapy. He came back a while later and apologized to the class. He was a cool teacher, so we pretty much understood he was out of it that day. We never brought it up again after he came back, mostly out of respect. A couple had sex on the roof. They thought no one could see them, but it ended up on the news. Edit. Crazy how so many people have sex on the roof of their schools all across the globe. Senior prank. Someone put a big, pink, double-sided DLDO in the vending machine. Please return it whenever you find the time. Well, some dudes thought it'd be a nice idea to have a finish line in their bicycle race. They used a string for that and didn't tell the participants. One guy got his cheeks cut a la Heath Ledger's Joker. I was oblivious in grade 6, but it turned out one of the girls was giving blowjobs in the back of the bus. Then they moved to 2-3 girls giving blowjobs at a local park. One of the kids told his mom, and that's how the whole system was found out. Turns out me and a couple of my friends, well, our friend circle, were the only ones to not be a part of this blowjob ring. Some grade 9s took nude pictures of themselves and sent them to some grade 12 guys. Those pictures quickly made their way to the phones of every student in the 3 high schools in town. Also, the principal's daughter gave her boyfriend a handy under the table in class. At my girlfriend's high school, 2 kids took a shit-ton of Molly and had an LSX on the roof of the school during class. Here's the kicker. It was a 2-story school. There were classrooms with windows essentially all around the dirty duo, and many witnessed the deed. I have 3 notable stories. 1. During an assembly, the presenter plugged in his flash drive into the computer being projected to the auditorium of 11th and 12th grade students. A computer automatically opened his gay PRN and played a slidder show in front of everyone. It made local news and I think he lost his job. 2. Every year our school's ski club takes a trip to Vermont. On the bus ride a girl gave 2 guys head and got caught. Now on every bus ride for events we sit boys in front and girls in the back. 3. Finally, during an assembly 2 freshmen snuck to a closed off section of the auditorium. Sh gives him head. Janitor walks in and reports them to the office. A week later all the 9th grade girls had an assembly about how not to be a WH-ray and to respect yourself. I have even more but those are the best I got. I once watched a teacher, who was a black belt I may add, take down this kid for trying to RP a girl in the bathroom. It was a brawl though. The kid definitely connected to his face a couple times. The year after I graduated a girl blew a guy in the woods by the school during the House Olympics, kind of like a field day. The 2 of them were trashed and the guy finished on her face. The girl was then found in the cafeteria with cum all over her face. A freshman had an LSX for the first time under the staircase before school one day and passed out apparently. She hit her head and her boyfriend had to dress her and carry her to the nurse's office. School found out and had her parents come in to watch the security camera film to verify that that was in fact her daughter having an LSX and then passing out. Towards the end of my senior year, a few of us pulled some money together to buy a 6-foot inflatable penis. We blew it up during our last assembly and the brains behind the operation launched that bad boy out of the middle of the senior section. It flew out towards the middle of the court. Our geography teacher immediately ran out to carry that giant schlong away. Some of my classmates snapped a few pictures of that moment. It was glorious. Bonus. A few minutes after the launch, our principal gave us a pre-written speech where she begrudgingly expressed how proud she was of the gratuity NG class and commended us on our maturity. Double bonus. It was a Catholic school. TLDR. Flying giant penis in front of entire school. P.S. Forgive the sentence structure and spacing. I'm on a plane. I'm drunk. And I don't care to fix the errors. When I was a freshman, a group of seniors put a DLDO on top of a vending machine and then hid with a camera. The superintendent found the DLDO and they videotaped him. At the time we all watched this stupid thing called Channel 1 each morning, which was basically a patronizing news program for teens. The seniors replaced the tape in the library with a loop of the super jacking off a DLDO on top of a vending machine. If memory serves, they were never caught. In the 8th grade some girl at my school had a nervous breakdown and just started flashing random guys while yelling, "Is this what you want? Do you like me now? Not nudity etc." 1. A guy has a collection of dildos and vibrators on the top shelf of his locker for some reason. One of them accidentally gets turned on and left in the locker. Principal discovers after complaints of buzzing sounds. I think the guy was only suspended. Now he lives on a gay hippie commune in Tennessee. 2. A poo bandit was on a rampage for a month and a half. Shitting on the floors of bathrooms and hallways. Smearing their fesses on lockers, display cases, walls, anything really. Culprit, S. were never caught. 3. Guy gets expelled for standing up on the bus and waving his dick out the window at children. 4. Several people caught masturbating in the bathrooms and publicly shamed over the years. 5. 7th grade middle school teacher starts tutoring one of his old students. A sophomore. A torrid love affair ensues that ends with her dropping out of high school. The man's wife and family leaving him. And he's still serving prison time. We'll post more as I remember them. Now he lives on a gay hippie commune in Tennessee. He found his path. I was in music class and I play the saxophone. I was just saxing away and I hear someone yell. The girl that screamed was sitting next to a kid who played the tuba. I put down my sax and turn around and there is a kid just frozen still. He is kind of known for being a weird guy, but what I saw was next level weird. He was holding the mouthpiece of the tuba toward his crotch. This kid put his dick in a tuber. He wasn't paid to do it. He wasn't dared to do it. He put his penis in a tuber for free and for his own pleasure. Edit. To clarify, he did not have his whole dick in the mouthpiece. And keep in mind it was freshman year and his dick was far from impressive. Now that takes some brass balls. Few scumbags made an autistic girl their WH-re. Took advantage of her condition and used her in turns. It became a pretty huge story in my country. Mostly because it happened in a rich neighborhood. One of the boys was sentenced for 6 years. The others got away with it as they were underage. In the media their identity is censored. But I know who they were. Edit. People asked for more details, so here it is. The girl was 15 years old when the abusing started. And the boys were 15-17. 5 years old. Other than one of them who was 18 years old. And he was the leader of the group and was arrested for 6 years. Other than the sexual abuse. They also physically abused her. For example, they smothered cigarettes on her body and used her naivety to blackmail hundreds of dollars from her. The leader of the group also threatened her that he would show to people videos of the abuse if she told anybody. What the hell? I am masturbated after getting an A in my assignment once. Sometimes you got to reward yourself. Treat yourself. Oh boy. Where to begin with MRS? For one, he had the habit of grabbing the loose skin of his neck. Right under his chin. And shaking it back and forth while he was thinking. Full stop. Full stop. But NSFW wise. He would always keep his classroom freezing so girls would come in with jackets. Then about 20 minutes into class. He'd jacket up to 80. Off came the jackets. Then 10 minutes later down to freezing so there'd be nipples jutting out everywhere. Once the jackets came on it was back to hot. Repeat all lecture, hour and a half, long. Teacher gave a student a lap dance during class. So there's that. Must have written a really good essay. A teacher was purposely dropping pencils to look up girls' skirts. He got sacked. There was a rumor that one of the lesbian pay teachers felt a kid up in the changing rooms. Also, we had an assembly about how mysterious and suspicious poops were being found around the school grounds and school halls, and as no pets were allowed on school grounds it was very odd. Turned out a girl was going round just laying turds down when nobody was watching. Edit. Wow, there are so many upvotes. This is my most upvoted comment on Reddit. Thanks guys. Edit. So a lot of people were asking what school did I go to? Well, I think it is about time I answer. I went to school in the northwest of England. I would give the exact name of my school, but I am ashamed of how I went to that school and would like to not be reminded too much of it. The case of the mysterious poops. One of the teachers meant to email nude pics to her boyfriend, I think. But accidentally sent it to a student. The pics were spread around real quick. Until the principal threatened to search our lockers. Nothing too bad. But once someone took a dump so unbelievably large and clogged the toilets that it became a sensation. There was literally a line outside the toilet of people wanting to see and to have their photo taken with this gargantuan tea. This thing was the size of a small child. Think small fire extinguisher. Eventually we figured out who gave birth to this monstrosity. Turns out he has IBS and only shts every 1-2 weeks. Edit. Oh yeah. There was also one time when a girl in year 7, she was 12, gave a handjob to a 15-year-old in the bathroom. Edit 2. For people wondering. This happened in Australia and it was like 5 years ago, so I don't know anyone who'd still have a photo of this turdzilla. Turns out he has IBS and only shts every 1-2 weeks. About 9. 5 corrects I'd say. Quite impressive. Teacher got fired for molesting a student in my class. His name? Mr. Rash. A girl discovered masturbation and decided to rub one out while sitting a desk away from me in the middle of algebra class. The next day I believe she brought some of her discharge or something in a Ziploc bag to show other students. I believe she switched schools shortly after. 2 people got expelled from my school for having sex in a music cupboard during lunchtime. They were walked in on by a female teacher who was less than impressed. But teacher. I had sex with my GF on the roof of the school during my open period. During my open period. 2 junior high kids in my school went to the DS room, detention room with no windows, and did the dirty deed without realizing that there was a camera. The best part is that the principal showed the video to their parents. Edit. Thank you to everyone for my most successful comment ever. I'm internet rich. Possession of child pornography. And technically distributing it as well. In year 4. Our class was in one of those temporary buildings. One day. We weren't allowed into the class. Turns out the evening before. 2 guys had broken in and wrecked the place. Including shitting in the cupboard. For some reason. They took the teacher's camera. Photographed themselves. And left the camera there. In year 8, 12-13-year-olds. We were set a homework assignment to Sturbert. Specifically phrased as. Go home and if you've got an itch down there. Scratch it. And try some stuff out. It helps because you can tell your boyfriends what you like. Not to NSFW. Except it was a very strict all-girls high school. Needless to say she was sacked, though over 6 months after said incident. A guy, who was rumored to have 3 testicles, forced a girl to give him a hand job under a blanket. This was in the middle of class. Also, a guy and girl had sex in their car during lunch. It wouldn't have been bad if they weren't parked in the front row of the school. I'm a substitute teacher. One day last semester, I heard snickering from a classroom full of high school juniors and seniors. A second later, one student stands up with an 8-inch long purple vibrator tied to a string and starts swinging it around his head like a lasso and gyrating his hips while moaning and yelling. Woo. Kids these days. Grew up in a really small town. Where you knew everyone in your grade. 2nd grade. A kid pooped on the seat of the toilet. Everyone lost their minds. And set off an investigation led by a pissed off school janitor. Some kid ended up being blamed. And they kicked him out of the school? I think. Because after he was blamed, he didn't ever come back. But I did it. I pooped on the seat. No one ever knew. Underage couple. Girl gave guy a blowjob. Guy got suspended. Girl got a strong talking to and lots of embarrassment. Underage girl was giving a handjob during an RE class. Just rumor though. As far as I know, various sexual activities have gone on in the 6th form toilets. That is all I know about. 39-year-old teacher banged an 18-year-old chick. Did she at least get extra credit? I teabagged a few mouthpieces in the band room. And never told anyone. Edit. Don't FCK with the mother FCK I'm pit. Were you horny? I'll show myself out. Edit. My first gold. Thank you. Maybe I'll lick it. There was this guy in my class which had a severe case of ADHD. At one point he would stand on top of the table, doing the helicopter dick in front of the teacher. Edit. He wasn't even expelled for it. He got kicked out of school when he punched the janitor in his face. Shitty man. We had a kid get a blowjob on the staircase. And it got caught on film. So naturally I decided to put his name on Urban Dictionary with that definition. Of getting a blowjob on a staircase. Usually at a school. Oh, the death threats I received. A math teacher got rejected by an 8th grader and got arrested after she told her mother. The sick part is that he just kept going on and on about how him and the girl had become one and that he felt like they were both meant for each other. One guy got really high and FK'd the change return on a soda machine. Isn't that thing like an inch deep? My sophomore year of high school, a kid recorded some girl sucking his dick on his phone. He went to school the next week and sent it out to as many people as he could via Bluetooth. Throughout the next week, everyone in my school of 4,500 plus kids were trying to find each section of the video. It was broken down to be sent out. It was like playing Pokemon. We had to catch them all. A student pooped in a lunchbox and threw it into a classroom full of first years or middle school freshmen. Few Americans. Edit. Thanks for the clear. I made a mistake and have learned from it. Middle school freshmen? I am concerned about so many people pooping in lunchboxes. A kid lost one stroke to a finger when a friend slapped her locker shut. A kid was shot dead in the teacher's parking lot. Another school's gang warfare. This is from a school in the town over from me. Guy sitting an exam. In a big exam hall of 100 or so people. Guy is sitting at the back of exam hall. Guy finishes early. Guy has a wank. I guess you could say. He finished early. My 9th grade sex ed teacher told us that once she caught a student masturbating during the childbirth video. F-king miracle of life.